The Global Net, Censorship and Political Freedom, Section 3.5, From a Gift of Fire, Social, Legal, and Ethical Issues for Computing and the Internet, 4th edition by Sarah Bass. My name is Jessica Perlman. I am presenter number 18, and this is for Computer Science 313, Section 50 Online. This section is broken down into 3 different aspects of censorship and political freedom dealing with the global net. As you can see, the first section breakdown is tools for communication, tools for oppression. Will the internet be a tool for increased political freedom or a means of oppression? Conventional wisdom has conveyed the idea that the internet protects against censorship and increases freedom, but looking at it in a global context, we're a free nation, and so we see the internet as somewhat limitless and a limitless exchange of ideas, but the internet experience is not universal across the globe. In countries with oppressive governments, the freedom of the internet poses a threat to them, to the governments, and so in response, they develop strategic means to block the flow of information and communication. And this technology allows for surveillance and interception by the government, and that aids in the oppressive control. The internet is definitely good in many ways. It has helped people in these same countries that lack political and cultural freedom to promote revolutionary ideas and social change. It has fostered communication and brought people together to stand up for a better life and a better world. But unfortunately, oppressive governments see modern communicative technology as a threat to their control, so they censor, block, and ban to keep the danger of knowledge and questioning at bay. And they use these technologies to keep tabs on individuals and bring down those who passionately share ideas and actively work to make their countries a better place. So if people are unable to access information and to think for themselves, the government is able to control more so their beliefs. Some countries that have examples of stunting freedoms on the internet are Saudi Arabia, which blocked pornography, gambling, sites in conflict with the Muslim religion, and information about ways around filters. Turkey banned YouTube for 2 years. Pakistan banned internet telephony. Vietnam blocked anti-communist messages from other countries. Egypt actually planted spyware on revolutionaries' computers to directly intercept communication. And during the revolution, the government actually shut down cell phone and internet service completely. Burma banned the use of internet or creation of web pages without official permission. It also blocked posting about politics or even things that were not political, but they consider possibly harmful to the country's politics. It's really interesting. At one point, Burma law made possession of an unauthorized modem or satellite dish punishable by up to 15 years in jail. When the internet first came out in the 1990s into the public sphere, China actually required internet users to register with the police. Chinese law prohibits producing, retrieving, duplicating, and spreading information that may hinder public order. But that is a pretty general statement allowing the Chinese government the ability to flex their control as they wish. Facebook, Google, Wikipedia, the New York Times, these big sites that we might think of as universal have actually all been banned or censored. And other sites with information regarding politics, economics, religion, liberation, even disease outbreaks and natural disasters. The government has even filtered text messages when that's been a way of communicating since citizens couldn't use the internet. When a region actually experienced violent ethnic protests, China blocked communication and shut down internet access to the region for 10 months. Iran has periodically blocked YouTube, Wikipedia, the New York Times, and even Amazon. In recent years, Iran has blocked over 5 million websites. They have a pretty sophisticated surveillance system that examines individual internet activity down to personal emails. It also blocked sites advocating the end of stoning women. Afghanistan banned all internet use completely in 2001. not for any particular reason, but just because they felt it was a general danger or threat to their ideas. And in 2002 is when internet came to Afghanistan with the new government. Some countries own their nation's internet backbone, computers, communication lines, and that allows them to easily monitor communication and intercept everything. Many countries actually have government agents use social media to pretend to be activists and distribute information about planned protests. So then when people show up, the assumed revolutionaries or rebels, the police are there ready to arrest. Governments often collect passwords and gather names of revolutionary bloggers, and some governments actually set up their own social networking sites and email services to keep their citizens under control directly. In the next section, talking about aiding foreign censors and repressive regimes, it looks at companies that have developed in free countries but become a part of international markets, sometimes in oppressive countries, and so they have to comply with other nations' regulations. But these often conflict with free countries' companies' values, but if they refuse to comply, they lose big business. For example, Microsoft censored the words freedom and democracy on its Chinese portal and shut down a journalist's blog on its MSN Space site because it was critical of Chinese government. Yahoo actually helped identify 2 people who were jailed for pro-democracy writing. The government requested information from Yahoo on particular users, and Yahoo handed it over without finding out why. And so something that we are very pro-democracy, we helped people in another nation get punished for. Skype in China had to work with Chinese communications company Tom to modify its software so sensitive messages are filtered from chat and surveillance is actually stored. So the example with Google is really good at highlighting the difficult decision of working in unfree countries. Google originally held tight to its position and ethical standing, refusing to give in to repressive censorship laws, even if it meant lost business opportunity. In 2006, Google ended up complying with Chinese law, creating a Chinese platform, but that all ended in 2010 when there was a large-scale hack attempt to get human rights activists' Gmail information. Today, the search engine is only available in Hong Kong, which has less restrictive laws, and the only services Google provides to the rest of China are those that are not subject to censorship, such as with Android. Are companies who comply with regulations of foreign censors and repressive regimes just respecting different countries' ways? Or are they partners in oppression? Is it better that these companies provide peoples of other nations at least more access to information and communication than they would otherwise have? Or should they refuse to support the overbearing control these governments have on their people? A utilitarian or rights-based standpoint supports the position that the benefits of services to the masses outweighs the small number who are persecuted. However, the small group who gets punished is comprised of the people that are actually talking about and actively working for change for the better. Violators' actions and government reaction could go both ways. They could support revolution, or further the oppression. In support of revolution, they could get people fired up and passionate when somebody is jailed for doing something for the common good, for the people. Yet on the other hand, it could cause the government to crack down and get very extreme, more censored, more oppressive, and scare the people. And so you have to ask, should companies hand over information to governments without the government having to give any explanation of why? Like with the Yahoo example. But even if Yahoo knew what they were going to arrest for, who gets to draw the ethical line? Who gets to decide what's criminal or when information has to be handed over? There are a lot of unanswered questions, but they open up so much room for discussion and critical thinking. In the last topic area, it talks about shutting down communications in free countries. So it kind of looks at public safety versus the threat to freedoms. Should government have the authority in certain circumstances to shut down communications? You can look at where's the line drawn between a free country limiting communication in response to a violent mob versus a non-democratic government limiting communication in response to threat of protest and, in their mind, the disturbance of public order. And actually, several British and U.S. cities have considered legislation authorizing government to shut down communication in times of coordinated violence, like riots. None have passed. An American governmental agency has actually shut off internet technology to the public before. BART, a government transportation agency in the San Francisco Bay Area, shut down wireless service when they learned about a plan for a group to coordinate disruptive activities through mobile communication regarding location and number of BART police. When a private company shuts down service, the question is that a wise decision? But when a government agency shuts down service, it becomes a question of the First Amendment and other liberties. Is government working for the people? Again, we must consider, does widespread shutdown of communication because of the threat of a few outweigh the inconvenience and possible harm to the majority of innocent people? So my presentation has been a bit long. I went pretty in depth and covered a lot of things. These next two slides are really largely recaps, and this one just poses some more questions, like paying attention to the possibility of law enforcement abusing powers that we might give them, as far as, for example, shutting off communicative technologies at certain times when it becomes an issue of public safety. And this just lays everything out cleanly into the main points of the issue. Why is it an issue? Possible solutions, and the future outlook. And this is just my reference list. I stuck to 3.5, The Global Net Censorship and Political Freedom, from our textbook, A Gift of Fire, the 4th edition. I didn't feel I needed any outside resources because Bass already goes over so much and poses some great questions that really spur critical thinking and debate. And so I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that it maybe fired up a little bit of passion in you or got you thinking. And I hope that it helps you study the section 3.5 for your test.